4 times the amount of light simply by what reflector you're using. To some of you, this might seem like the most boring video ever made, but for those of you in the know, you know that this can make all the difference in the world of photography, especially if you shoot outdoors. The reflector you use could make the difference of up to 2 stops of light. That's 2 stops is 4 times the amount of light. You're going to be shocked at the difference of output just from this to this. Now, the reason some of these lights are really bright is because they focus all the light into a tiny little hotspot in the middle. And that hotspot's too small if the light is close to the subject, but it's perfect if the light is further away from the subject. On the other hand, some of these reflectors have very little hotspot, so they're really good for using it up close. So it's really important to know what reflector to use and when. Why reflectors and not softboxes? Well, the biggest reason is reflectors put out a lot more light than softboxes do. They don't blow over the wind, they don't draw a lot of attention, and despite everybody thinking you need softboxes for great lighting, 90% of the pictures I've taken throughout the years were all taken with just reflectors, not softboxes. Softboxes are a hassle and reflectors are really compact, portable, and easy to use. And they output a lot more light. All the tests that I'm going to show you are going to be done with this light, except for this one here. This is my basic outdoor go-to travel light, the Zhiyun X100. For portability and for power, nothing beats this light. And it has actually a really good throw pattern. All these tests are going to be done 3 feet from the wall. We're going to test how wide the flat area is in the middle and how bright it is. And this is actually a pretty good standard to start with. The X100 has a 30-inch hotspot in the middle, measuring 5.66. Now, when I say, people ask me a lot of times in my videos, what does that mean? What does it mean 56803? Those are basically f-stops that you measure on a light meter. If I measure this light on a wall and it says 566, and then I measure another one and it's 8. The 8 is brighter, obviously, than the 566, and so there's more light. 5.6 is 1 stop less than 8, just like f-stops. So that's what I'm with my numbers. So this one here is 566. Okay, so this is like going to be our compare. This is the what I like, and we're going to compare with that. So as you know, I've been talking a lot about the RFT19 reflector lately. This thing it puts out the most amount of light out of any reflector. And the reason for that is because it concentrates most of the light into a hot spot in the middle. So you get 806. So if this is 566 at 30 inches hot spot, this is 806, which is more light, almost a stop more light, but the hotspot's only 16 inches. That's where the difference is. Now, it also depends, what are you using it for? I use these things mainly just for vlogging and for taking pictures of one person. Some of these things have a hotspot that's only like 16 inches. 16 inches is this wide. Okay, so that is how wide the usable spot of light is on an RFT19. And if that's enough for you, great. But for most, like when you're talking and vlogging and stuff, this is really cutting it kind of short. Everything outside of that 16 inches, it's too weak of an amount of light to really be usable. So that's why this thing is so bright, because the hot spot is, it's almost 2 stops brighter than some of these other ones, but because the hot spot is shrunk down to a really small spot. So moving on, this one here, which is similar, it's very similar to this one. This one is 21 inches in a hot spot, and it's 803. The facets are a tiny bit smaller than this one. This right here is a little bit more curved than this. This is a straighter line. This is a little more curved. So, okay, so this is 806 at 16 inches. This is 803 at 21 inches. This one is more curved. You see this? It's even more curved, and the facets are much smaller than that or that. See how much smaller the facets are? Okay, so we have smaller facets and a more rounded bell-shaped dome. So this has a hotspot of 22 inches. So if this is 16 inches, this is 22 inches. This is the left photo. This is the one that I like a lot also. The light meter reading is 567. So if this is 8.06, this is 5.67. So this is actually a stop less light in the hotspot than this is. Big difference in photography. 1 stop is twice as much light. Now, some of you might be asking, what about if you put a frosted piece of diffusion over the front of this? Okay, does that make a difference? It actually doesn't make that much of a difference, believe it or not. It makes the light a little bit softer for, you know, shadowing on the face and stuff. But as far as the actual size of the hotspot, This takes this hotspot of 22 inches down to actually less. It's 19 inches. It actually makes the hotspot smaller. On the RFT19, it takes the 16-inch hotspot. If you put it on there, it goes bigger up to 17. This, because of the straight edges and the large facets, focuses the light more. But when you put this on here, the hotspot gets 1 inch bigger. Ooh. And when you put it on the round one, the hotspot actually gets smaller. So you're losing light, getting a smaller hotspot, so this is not that good for getting a usable hotspot it doesn't help, is what I'm saying. Okay, we already figured out this one here. This is the X100. Now, this is an interesting one here. This one, I'm going actually from the brightest to the dimmest. This comes with the GVM SD80D. You can see it comes with that. It's still bowens mount, which is interesting. Okay, but this is the reflector it comes with. It's a smaller reflector, which I like for traveling. It's a really portable reflector. And it comes with the GVM SD80D. So that's what it comes with. And believe it or not, this thing is actually one of the best ones I have. It's got a rounded edge here. It's got medium-sized facets. But the hotspot on this, believe it or not, depending on how you set it up, is from 30 to 35 inches. That is twice the size of the hotspot as this thing here. So this is a smaller, more compact portable reflector. It has twice the size of a hotspot as this does. It's a stop dimmer. It's 5.65, but the usable area of light is over 30 inches. That's that wide. Now we're getting to a spot that's actually usable for vlogging and for taking pictures of individual people. So I like this one for so many reasons, because it's portable, it's small and lightweight. You only lose a stop of light over this. This is cheating anyway. It's creating a really bright light because it's focusing it all in a small spot. But the spot of light is between 30 to 35 inches. Really, really good. I really like this one. And the hotspot is actually pretty flat and even all the way across. It's not hotter in the middle and dimmer as it goes out. So this is really, really good for that. All right, next one up, we have an even rounder edge here with even smaller facets. I don't know what this is from, but this one is 5.65 and 22 inches. Now we go to this one here. This one came with the Neewer HB80B. This is an 80-watt video light. I already reviewed this in a video. This is a smaller reflector that comes with it. It's still bowens mount, but as you can see, it's smaller than the other ones. It's got a really soft gradation from the hot area to the outer area. So this is really usable. So for traveling with a wide usable area of light, this is actually a good one to use, even if you're not using this light. It is bowens mount. And what I do is I like to take the right characteristic reflector with me, even though I won't use this, but I'll put it on like a Ulanzi 120 by or something like that, because it's a brighter light, but gives you the same characteristics of this. So I really like this one, 24-inch hotspot, 5.61. Now we get into this one here. This is kind of interesting. This one came with Neewer Q4 flash. Okay, that comes with that. That's what it was meant for. It is bowens mount, which is great. This is the style that most of the new flashes are with, like the AD600, was it 300 or 400s? They all come with something like this now. This is the new style. And what this does is this creates a much flatter, wider light. It takes the light level way down. This one here is down to 4.09. So if this one here is 8.06, this one is 4.09. It's almost 2 stops less light than this. But it gives you a wider light, a softer, smoother, flatter light, and the hotspot is 26 inches. And it gives you a really soft grad. So that's really good. If you want like a wider, softer, smoother light, you're going to lose a lot of light, but you're getting a softer, smoother, wider light with it. And while we're on the subject with this, a lot of people probably think this is a really boring video, so they probably already clicked off by now. So that's a good time for me to bring up the fact that I'm giving away, speaking of Neewer flashes, that was a Q4. This is a Q6. This is a 600 watt second flash, brand new, right out of the box. Neewer Q6 flash. I did a review on it. It's a 600 watt second flash, and it works really well. And yes, it does get triggered by Godoc's triggers. So I'm going to put this away. MarcusPix.giveawayinner.com. For those of you who are still here, congratulations. You got yourself in the running for a 600 watt second flash. Really, really dependable. I love the newer flashes. Moving along now, as if I never said anything out of the ordinary here. We're now going on to another rounder one. This one has interesting facets. These ones are a fish scale style facet. So this fish scale style has a 24-inch wide hotspot. It's 4.09, but it has a really nice, smooth, gradual fall off. So that's what makes this one kind of cool compared to, like, say, the left photo or anything else like that, which look kind of similar. Much smoother gradation with this one, simply by the shape of the facets. I don't know where I got this, but I'm just sharing with you how the shape of the facets and the roundness of this makes all the difference. And finally, we have the original Godox AD600. This is the most basic of the old reflectors there is. It's got like a pebbled texture is what they, there's not even facets. It's just a pebbled texture. And this one is 4.08. So if this one is 8.06, as f-stops go, this is 4.08. So we're talking 2 stops of light difference here. The hotspot on this, though, now there is a benefit to this. This one, even though the light goes way down, it gives you a really nice gradual fall off with the light. The hotspot is at least 24 inches, and that's really nice. You're going to lose light, but it gives you a nice softer light. This is the new style that people are giving you now if you're using this kind of reflector with the square facets. Gives you more of a hotspot, brighter light in the middle, but the usable space is a lot smaller. The old style has a wider hotspot, but it's smoother and it's a lot more pleasant to use for wider areas. So if your subject's further back, use the newer faceted ones with the straight edges. And if your subject's closer, use the more rounded reflectors with the pebble texture or the smaller facets or the fish scales. This one came with the original Godox AD600. That's what this one came with. The new Godox 600s use this style, which gives you the wider throw. Now remember, these tests were all done at 3 feet, which is the distance I like to use for vlogging to get maximum amount of light out in bright sunlight to match the sun. In which case, some of these hot spots are too small. But of course, if you back up to like 6 feet or 9 feet or 12 feet, then the hot spot gets a lot bigger and is more usable. And that's where these newer, more faceted reflectors come in handy. Of course, the light level drops dramatically as you back it up, but you get a bigger hot spot. The newer faceted reflectors give you more light output than the older ones do that do not have a hot spot. So of course, what reflector you use should be determined by what you're doing. This doesn't really help that much. It does a little bit as far as, what you actually see on someone's face, but as far as the size of the hotspot, it doesn't help any. I mean, you could just throw some diffusion gel over the front, make it really soft, but then you're cutting the light way down. If you want a really wide, nice throw of light, you're probably going to want a lantern or a dome or a softbox or some diffusion gel, and you're not going to use one of these. So that's where this is. I know they're trying to meet in the middle here with giving you a wider area of light, but this is not smooth light. This is still hard light. Even though you're getting a wider area to use, it's still hard light. If you want soft, even light all the way across, use a softbox. For me, doing a talking head, I want a light as bright as possible in about this wide of an area. That's why I need a throw of about 30 inches, which is actually why this one is, in my opinion, one of the best ones to use. I would almost buy the GVM SD80D not for the light, but for the reflector. This means a lot to me. I use the Ulanzi VL120 Bi as my main light when I travel. It has a D-tap V-mount battery on the back. It's 120 watts, really, really bright. It's brighter than the X100. And as you can see, it's actually smaller than the GVM, which is only 80 watts. So yeah, you could use this, but this is 80 watts. This is 120 watts. This is much brighter than this. So what I do is I take the reflector off the GVM and put it on the Ulanzi. So now I've got a portable, nice 120 watt power source that takes a D-tap V-mount battery on the back. And this thing is not that big compared to this when you travel. So, and it gives you a more usable, a more good-sized hotspot that's actually usable. So it's a lot of people think this stuff is boring, but this makes so much difference in photography. And I test this stuff for you because this is like, I'm sure most people don't waste time testing this stuff, but look at 4 times the amount of light between here and here. 4 times the amount of light simply by what reflector you're using the same light. And that's a big deal in the photography world, especially if you're outdoors and you need as much light as possible to light your subject. Okay, well, I hope this helped. And, you know, we spent some time together talking about stuff we like, and I hope you got something out of it. So I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye.